People are so obsessed with humbling women, it's almost like an empowered woman is a threat to society. And I would like to argue that it is. By design, women in society are made to feel worthless all the time. There are billion-dollar industries dedicated to telling us that we are not enough, and there is a new body type to chase every single 2 years. And it's a benefit for the patriarchal capitalist society that we live in because women who feel worthless all the time don't demand equal pay. They don't demand better benefits. They don't demand better treatment from their relationships with men. A woman who loves herself and feels like she deserves better from the world and from her relationships and from people in general is a threat to the way we live. They literally weren't kidding when they said loving yourself is the start of the revolution.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this, and I love you.
Guys, no matter what you do for these women, okay, they will never be happy. They will never be content with themselves. They will never sit there and think, oh, you know what? He did enough for me. I'm so grateful to have him in my life, guys. Anything that these women talk about, man, is so temporary to them, it is unreal. Okay, I want to draw your attention to the fact that the woman in the second clip, I believe it was talking about how, oh, women are always pressured to look different and it's so difficult for us as girls. Literally, these women are out here receiving the most validation that they have ever received, and yet they find it difficult to be okay with themselves, guys. I cannot tell you how many times we cover Reddit stories on this channel, stories of dudes in relationships thinking, oh, I've got to do this to make her happy, right? I've got to run around and do all of these chores, or she's not going to be happy with me today. I just want to keep my wife happy. And the thing is, gentlemen, truth be told, these women, a lot of them will never be happy. It doesn't matter what you give them. It doesn't matter what you try to show them. Oftentimes these people are stuck in the whole I'm a victim and things are difficult for me. I mean, guys, we are literally in the year 2021 and still sitting here having the discussion of the wage gap. The wage gap is not a thing, gentlemen, and the fact that these girls are still out here believing it is so absolutely insane. Right, I know that I harp on this point every video, guys. I'm kind of recording this session back to back here, but the victim mentality is absolutely just insane. And I want to really highlight this in contrast to a man, okay? If you're a dude in the year 2021, nobody's going to be out here giving you validation. Nobody's going to be out here telling you that you look fantastic and beautiful and all of these things, okay? But women who don't receive enough validation, as if there is such a thing for them, oh, they'll be out here crying about how the patriarchy affects them negatively and how working is so difficult, as if it isn't infinitely harder as a man, right? And the reason why it's a lot harder as a dude, guys, is because here's the thing. Society would have you, as a young man from a young age, be brought up with the idea that you need to provide for other people, and if you don't, you're a bad person. Right, we see this attitude everywhere, guys, and I'm talking relationships, I'm talking media, wherever you look, right? The idea is that the man is supposed to provide, and if he doesn't do that, then he's a terrible person. And that's just a message that I'm so sick of seeing, guys, and women will chalk it up to, oh, we're oppressed because of the patriarchy, right? And we have such a hard time because of the patriarchy, and they cannot cite anything outside of a gender pay gap that doesn't exist. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're going through some articles and some Reddit stories that you gentlemen have sent into the show. But before we crack in, gentlemen, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure that you subscribe on your way in. And as always, if you are interested in supporting the channel, guys, make sure you check out the locals link in the description, gentlemen. The first month over there is totally free on me with code Fiendish. So if you are interested in supporting the channel, guys, make sure you go and check that out. But, on the topic of never being satisfied, gentlemen, we're going to be jumping into today's first story, and this one is just so absolutely terrible, okay? Now this one here, if I can actually pull up the right screen, is titled, "This one is for the girls who need to know that he's not worth it." And it begins by saying, "I am her. I am your classic Midwest gal with a strong heart and more than a loving spirit who falls for the D-bags, the guys who live for the chase, the guys who just don't care. I knew it then and I know it now. But over the past few years, there's one thing that's changed. I'm not afraid to feel confident in believing that I deserve more. I've realized so many things, in part from being played one too many times, but also from learning to just love being on my own. So what has changed? I don't put up with being another option ever. I'll be their friend and I'll be there for them if they let me, but I won't waste my time on the one who tries to play me. Gentlemen, this is something that we have to talk about, okay? You know, girls will talk about, oh, I need to feel more confident in myself, and it's all about feeling confident in yourself as a woman because I deserve more. Whenever a girl says that sentence, I deserve more, I think in my head, why? Right? These girls are literally out here chasing the bad boys, the dudes that treat them like crap, and what they do is they turn around and say, you know what? I need more. I deserve more. And then they take that quote-unquote standard and they put it on men, the good men. Right? So all of those dudes who treat them badly, she's going to turn around and go, you know what? I deserve better. So she's going to go to the good man, right? The guy that's always been there for her. And she's going to turn around and go, you know what? You need to do these chores for me. You need to get married to me ASAP or else you don't love me. You need to look after kids that aren't yours. Okay, you need to love me through thick and thin. Chances are I will be thick, right? And the thing about that is, gentlemen, is a lot of dudes are realizing that they're getting the short end of the stick. Right, a lot of guys have been sold the dream that, okay, you guys, you go to university, college, you get your degree, you get your nice house, you work really hard, and what a lot of guys figure out is that's a very lonely process. Right, if you want to be out here building up your business, working on yourself and stuff like that, I mean, you're not necessarily going to have a lot of time to be going out here socializing, and even if you are, it's not like a lot of people give a crap. Right, you think that these girls give a crap about the average guy, right? When we talk about on this channel being alone, there is a distinct difference between being alone as a woman and being alone as a guy. Right, if you're alone as a girl, it's always funny when women say this, right? Oh, I'm so alone and life is so difficult for me. And they still have so much attention and so much validation coming their way. They're just saying it for more attention and more validation, guys. It really is pretty disgusting. But let's continue back into this article here. Okay, so here we go. But over the past few years, there's one thing that's changed. I'm not afraid to feel confident in believing I deserve more. It took quite some time to get to a place where it's a one and done. One too many chances and they still can't get it. Easy, no brainer. He's just not worth it. So this one is for the girls. This one is for the for those who don't believe their own worth. This one's for those who just need to hear it. Don't put your life on hold for him. Don't wait for him to change, for him to treat you better, for him to hurt you first. And guys, this is something that girls will do so often, right? Where we've talked about this many times, but it's all about trying to change a guy. Right, so they'll come across a guy who won't commit to them, who's the bad boy, who you know has no interest in a relationship, and a lot of girls will think, okay, well I can change him. And what'll happen is what'll happen, guys, is she'll go out and she'll chase this guy, and she probably won't get him. Okay, but that guy, that interest is still going to be there throughout her life. And what I mean by that is you've got all these women who are hooked on men for multiple years, while that same woman goes in and out of relationships. And this is why it's so funny when you look into society, gentlemen, you start watching some of this content on the internet and you realize, oh, wait a minute, those dudes who are in relationships with these women, the women aren't even in the relationships. Right, they're just waiting for something new to come along. Maybe that old fling that she used to have, she's still holding out for him or holding out for something better. All of these girls, man, they're single. Right, is the realization that a lot of men come to. Doesn't matter if they've been in a 5-year relationship. Doesn't matter if they've been in it for 2 months. A lot of these girls, man, straight up, they're just single. Okay, and because what they're doing is these guys, these D-bags, as this woman put it, she's still interested in him while being in a relationship. Okay, and this is something that a lot of dudes don't realize, and you know, the relationship ends, and dudes think to themselves, oh, well, how did she get with this new guy within 2 weeks, right? Within the month, she's with a new man, and this is exactly how, because she had him lined up the entire time. She always knows that she can go back to that guy who's not going to give her a relationship, but she's going to try and get him on the hook for one anyway, okay? But again, it's about trying to change people. Right, and when we look at relationships, gentlemen, we cover stories. We used to do a lot more covering of YouTube videos on this channel, right, where women would talk about their relationships. And there's one distinct one that I remember early on the channel, guys, where it was very obvious that when women change a man, they lose interest. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you're in a relationship with a woman and over time she gets you to do more, and what she'll do, guys, is she'll try and change you, right? But when women get those changes, when they actually change you as a man, they don't like it. They'll spend the entire relationship trying to change you, and then they won't like the results, so they leave and get on with the next guy. It's like clockwork, guys, really. But let's continue onwards here. Don't wait for him to change, for him to treat you better, for him to hurt you first. Don't wait for him to make up his mind. Don't wait for him to choose you. People mature at different paces, especially men. Don't wait for him to find answers when you already have yours. Don't push your friends and family to the side for someone who doesn't embrace or accept everyone you love, everyone who is most important to you. And basically what's being said here, guys, is this is a really funny point. Where that bad boy, he's not interested in meeting your family because he doesn't want a relationship with you, right? He doesn't care about the people that you care about. He's not interested in becoming a part of your family. He's not interested in having a relationship with you. And this goes back onto this sentence right here. I'm going to scroll up and kind of bookmark this part. This sentence right here. I'm not afraid to feel confident in believing I deserve more. It's like, why do you deserve more? Okay, we got all these girls out here running around, and they're getting with multiple guys, and they think that men just don't see this stuff, right? That we're just going to ignore it and go, oh, okay, she's out here chasing dudes repeatedly, going through all of these relationships, situationships, whatever you want to call them, and what, I'm supposed to just wife her up, right? When the risks are already so stupidly high for marriage, I'm expected to just commit to this woman, and if I don't, I'm called immature as a man. I always find it very interesting, right? How society will try and correlate maturity with your ability, with your willingness, to commit to a woman, right? In other words, if you don't commit to a girl, you're immature. If you commit to a girl, then you're a mature man, right? And here's the thing, in 2021, guys, it's very difficult to make the argument that committing to these women is a good decision. Right, you're going to have a very hard time pushing that narrative in 2021 when a lot more men are waking up to this sort of stuff. Right? How am I supposed to sit here, right, and talk to you guys on a show about how it's a good idea to commit to these women? Like, that's just a straight up lie. Right? I literally cannot sit here and say, you know what, guys? One of the things that you should do is you should go out there, you should try and find yourself a girlfriend. Right, even that sentence is so incorrect, because by you going out there and trying to find a girlfriend, you think that these women want men who want them, right? Like, it's so funny to see whenever dudes ask a girl to be their girlfriend or ask a girl things in general, guys. I just sit there and, like, there's this internal dialogue in my head that just says, wow, that was silly, right? Because these women, they don't want to be the ones who are chased. Right, a lot of these girls, man, you tell these women that you're interested in them, that you can say basically goodbye to all the attraction that she had for you. If you say that you like her or you want her to be your girlfriend. Like, I'm telling you, man, if you've got a girl that you're interested in, go and tell her how you feel and just watch how she'll run away from you. It's very, very swift. But let's continue on with this article here. Don't push your friends and family to the side for someone who doesn't embrace or accept everyone you love, everyone who is most important to you. Don't stop believing in a world you love to live for the guy who doesn't put in the effort to be a part of it. Don't change your looks, your passions, your dreams, your personality for the guy who doesn't already appreciate everything that makes you who you are. And a lot of you guys who watch this show quite a lot, you already know what I'm going to say here. I just realized my text was off my coffee mug. There we go. Women who say this, right, don't change your looks, your passions, your dreams, your personality. The reason why these women are saying this is because this is what they've done. Okay, this is what they do for the men that they're attracted to. I cannot understate this. This is for all the guys who have been in relationships, who have been in marriages and stuff, where you sit there asking yourself the question, why doesn't she make herself look good for me? Okay, and I want to really highlight here why this is the case. This guy that she's attracted to, this bad boy, in her own words, right? Well, if you read between the lines, she's been out there changing her looks, her passions, her dreams, her personality for him. Right? So what that means is, for all those guys out there in relationships where these women aren't doing everything, you know, they aren't doing things for you, they're being hostile, you know, they don't dress up for you, they don't put any effort into the relationship, guys. These women are literally out here changing their entire everything about themselves for the dudes that they're actually attracted to. And that's a really hard pill for a lot of dudes to swallow, where they realize that oftentimes when men are chosen for long-term relationships, they're chosen for things like marriages. It's because that guy represents an insurance policy. He doesn't represent love. He doesn't necessarily represent someone that she's attracted to. A lot of these women will use men in long-term relationships. Right, all of those bad boys, again, she'll change her entire personality for, but that guy that she quote unquote loves, right? That guy that, oh, I love him more than the entire world. Oh, she won't dress up for him, right? Because she knows that she already has him. And I wish I was lying about this, guys. Like, I wish I was just kind of joking here, but I'm not. You will literally see girls in long-term relationships where she'll claim that she loves him so much and all this crap, but she won't do a damn thing for him, right? And yet for the bad boy, she's out here doing all of these things right here. Don't make excuses for his behavior. Don't put up with sorry after sorry. You know your worth, even if it takes some convincing to realize it. So don't settle for the guy who continues to play you. Don't wait for him to let you down. Don't wait for him to apologize when he's been given one too many chances. Don't wait for the guy who you already know doesn't deserve it. Don't wait for him to love you for you to truly understand what it's like to feel loved, appreciated, or desired. Don't wait for him to love you for you to understand how to love yourself. Don't give him the power to control your emotions. Don't be afraid to be real with him. Don't be afraid to ask the difficult questions. Don't be afraid to show him who you really are. This is probably the funniest part of the entire article, guys. Don't be afraid to show him who you really are. Now, let me just kind of unpack that sentence for you. And guys, feel free to leave your comments and your thoughts on this absolute clownery, okay? But this part right here is like, when women are attracted to a dude, right, or they've got a guy that they really like, she will literally change her entire being to match that man, right? Like, literally, girls will be out here wearing wigs, right? Wearing all this makeup, and if you've got a girl who really likes you, man, oftentimes these girls, they won't go to the bathroom in front of you, right? They'll refuse to take off their makeup, okay? You know, they'll do all of these things to make you have a certain perception of them if she really likes you. But that guy, again, who's sitting at home, her husband, right? A lot of women go, oh, screw it, I've already got him, so I'm not going to put in the effort. Right, yeah, he works really hard for me. Yeah, he works a 9 to 5. Yes, he does absolutely everything for me. But you know what? I'm not going to do anything for him. Right, because this part here, guys, it's just so funny, because if you're a man and you've been around the block a few times, maybe you've dated and dealt with some of these women, you know exactly what this sentence means, where she doesn't want to do anything to offend you, right? She doesn't want to do anything to make you perceive her as less attractive, so she'll go through all of this effort. And the most hilarious part is if they, you know, if they don't look good, if they're their feminine demeanor drops and they start to become masculine or disagreeable, they know that that man will drop them. That's why it's there, right? That's why they act right. These girls, I'm telling you, man, they know how to act right. Okay, they know how to be pleasant. A lot of these girls, man, they know that once I start being disagreeable to a guy, I better not do that, because he's going to kick me to the curb because he actually has options, right? He's not going to put up with this. And so a lot of girls, when they read a sentence like this before we continue onwards, a lot of dating advice for women consists of stuff like this. But the thing is, if women go out and do this, the men will just instantly drop them anyway. Like, she'll go from being a friends with benefits to, I'm not going to deal with you because you're too much of a headache for me. That's why this sentence is so funny. But let's continue onwards. Don't give up because he ghosted you. Don't blame yourself when he doesn't know what he wants. Don't let it slide when he doesn't give 100%. Don't text him when he doesn't respond. Don't sit there and wait for him to respond. Live your life. Be with family. Be with friends. Invest your time and attention into people who won't let you down. And this part, for the boys who aren't watching the screen right now, is in bold, and it says, don't question your worth for the guy who doesn't make you feel worthy of being loved. You know that you deserve better, and you tell yourself that you do, but I'm telling you right here and now, shooting it straight, because whether it's been 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years, you may still be sitting there telling yourself that you deserve better, yet you're still questioning your worth. Girl, if that's the case, then he isn't worth it. End it. Free yourself from the worry and doubt. Allow yourself to be with someone who wants every part of you because they genuinely love, desire, and cherish every part of you. Guys, articles like this, right? If it wasn't for the fact that they're so ridiculous, they're funny, right? They really are funny because, man, if these girls are out here with trying to get these men who aren't interested in committing to them, you think that these men are going to care if you break up the situationship? Right, if you're seeing a dude who won't commit to you and you break up the relationship, you think he's going to give a crap, right? A lot of these men who these women think that actually, oh, maybe he cares about me, maybe one day he'll see me more as more than a friends with benefits, and we can actually be something. And she ends the relationship, and she finds out very quickly, oh, my entire hopes and dreams were dashed here. Right, because when women end relationships with dudes, and I use the word relationships very loosely here, okay? When they end these relationships with men who aren't interested in committing to them, those dudes are going to say, "Oh, okay, I'll see you later then." Right? There's not going to be any argument. There's not going to be any, "Oh, please don't go, baby. How can I make this right for you?" A lot of these dudes will know, "Okay, see you," and she'll be back. Right? These girls, men who talk about, "Oh, you need to commit more to me," or "I'm going to go out there and I'm gonna go and date this guy." When that ultimatum comes for dudes who have options, you think that they really give a crap? It's gonna be like, "Okay, bye. I'll see you in 6 months. I'll see you in 9 months. However long your little relationship lasts," because that guy knows that she's still attracted to him. Right, there's no dude that's going to come along, and because the dudes that come along and treat these women right, it's like they know they don't deserve to be treated right. Their self-esteem is permanently damaged, guys, permanently. Okay. But gentlemen, we are going to be continuing on to today's next Reddit story. And this one is a bit of a longer Reddit story. So I'm going to see if I have a proper screen pulled up for this, which I do. So this one is, again, a marriage story. And I kind of like to read these marriage ones to you guys to give you guys a bit more of a fuller picture. I know a lot of you gentlemen in the comments have been married before or have been through situations like this. So it's just good to know. I think for dudes, one of the important parts about these types of shows is the fact that I think a lot of dudes don't really realize that it's not just them who have been through these situations. Right? When I read stories like this, I get a lot of emails from you guys going, "Oh, Taylor, I've been through this exact same situation," or "I've been married and this happened and that happened." And it's just really weird for a lot of dudes to finally realize that they're not actually alone in these situations. That's why I like to share these specifically these marriage and relationship ones, guys, because a lot of men, when they come out of relationships, when they come out of marriages, nobody's on the dude's side. Right? Nobody seems to give a crap. Like, these girls will literally, at the end of a relationship, I'm telling you, man, they'll lie to your family, they'll lie to your friends, and you're going to sit there thinking that you're absolutely crazy. Right, and I think that's a sad thing for a lot of men to go through. That's why I like to share these sorts of things, so a lot of guys kind of realize, oh, wait a minute, it's not just me who went through this bullcrap. But let's continue on with this story here. So again, thank you guys for submitting these into the show. And this one was from 3 days ago. Excuse me. It is titled, "My wife, who is 39, cheated on me, who is 41 years old, again, and I'm struggling to get out of this nightmare. My wife and I have been married for around 11 years now, and we have a 6-year-old child. Around the time we got married, I found out that she had been cheating on me in a purely long-distance online relationship. I confronted her about it at the time, and almost the first thing she tried to do was to blame me. I really regret not dealing with things then, but told her in no uncertain terms that there would not be a second chance. While we continued to have a reasonable relationship, I always felt like she made very little effort to rebuild the trust. I almost felt like I was just waiting to have my already damaged heart be broken again. It got to the point where I wanted divorce and escape, which of course, as fate would have it, was when we had a child. Child duties kind of numbed the negative parts of the relationship, but I won't go into further detail." And as I'm reading this, I'm not sure if we've actually read this one a couple of days ago on the show, but gentlemen, I kind of want to draw your attention to this fact right here, okay? This guy, when he was looking to get a divorce and escape the relationship, as fate would have it, they had a child. Now, gentlemen, we don't know this guy's exact situation, right? We haven't been in this guy's life and his exact shoes here. We don't know the girl personally. But I always find it very concerning when things coincidentally happen with children, right? Oh, she suddenly had a child, or this event happened which prevented me from leaving, guys. The cynical part of me says that this was planned, all right? We've heard a lot of situations on this show, gentlemen, where women will literally deliberately, excuse me if you can hear my phone going off there, women will literally deliberately go out here and do these things and have a child so that men can't leave. Like, there are women out here who will literally baby trap men, guys. And that's a really disgusting thing to say. So just be careful if you're in a situation like this and things just, coincidentally tend to happen. I don't believe we've seen too many of these stories, guys. So when I see coincidences, I'm kind of skeptical. But let's continue onwards. Fast forward to last year, and there was an illness in her family. I should preface this by saying that her family is thousands of miles away, and there is a large time difference. Due to certain travel restrictions, it was difficult, and she had to go by herself. The illness had not reached a very critical state at the time, so I was glad that she was able to spend some quality time with her family. During this time, I had to take sole responsibility for my child, along with the fact that we were moving house. Strangely, despite being quite busy and having limited access to any sort of social life, I actually feel like I had a lot less to do. I came to see how little she contributed to me, our child, and things in general. And again, guys, this is something that we see time and time again, where women will say, "Oh, don't you see what I contribute to the relationship?" Or "I do. All you do is pay the bills, right? I'm the homemaker. I make things so much easier." And then a lot of guys, when the roles get reversed, all I do is think, "Wait a minute, you haven't been doing anything this entire time. You just sit there and you just complain about tasks that aren't even difficult, man." Meanwhile, you got dudes out here working 9 to 5s, breaking their backs to provide for the actual roof that goes over your head, and the girls are complaining about the fact that they have to be housewives, right? It's like, you're welcome to go out there into the workforce, but it seems to me, guys, that no matter where you put a lot of these women, they will complain and say that their task is difficult no matter what they have to do. But let's continue onwards. While she was away, I always tried my best to contact her, but she would disappear, leaving her family to talk and really only focused on our son. Even those interactions were very limited, as they have a tendency to just start talking amongst themselves. There is a bit of a language barrier, but I can fully translate everything. On multiple occasions, I have had to apologize to my son for their behavior. I understood and fully supported her in every way, but but realistically, she had quite an easy time with no responsibilities. She had plenty of time to meet friends for dinner, and it was one of those occasions where she met up with who I thought was her ex-boyfriend. From the information I gathered, he came out with some nonsense about how she always was in his mind. Instead of doing the responsible thing, she let this turn into a relationship. The reason I found this out was because when she returned on Christmas Eve, she had to rush to the doctors with some completely confusing reason. I could see through her panic and lies. She had returned from the doctors and said it was just an infection, but I know that she was secretly worried that she had gotten something from seeing the man. When I confronted her and I said I wanted a divorce, she still tried to lie and say there was no involvement and tried to downplay it every step of the way. She believed, because she was so far away and with the difference of language to protect her, that she could spoon feed me little bits of information so I would not know the full truth. Unfortunately for her, the wife of the person she cheated on me with was a lot more sensible than me and told literally everybody except on my side. They also had a child, but neither he or my wife seemed to care about the damage that they have done. Right. She still seems to believe this is some kind of fairy tale relationship where they were destined to be together. I found out her plan was to basically string me along, use me to provide her with a comfortable and easy lifestyle while she takes her time figuring out how to be with him. She does not know I know this, and of course tried to quote-unquote give it one more go. And again, this is something that a lot of dudes come to find out the hard way, right? Where it's a very bitter pill to swallow when a lot of guys, they realize in long-term relationships that they're essentially just being used. Right, I'm telling you, man, girls will literally leave themselves open to advances from guys that they might find better than you. Right, and that's not me trying to be rude. That's not me trying to be mean, guys. It's a lot of these girls, they won't truly cut off their options. Right, we cover a lot of Reddit stories on this show, gentlemen, where guys are very confused about the actions of their girlfriends, right? Oh, why did she do this? Or why won't she block this guy who was their ex-boyfriend and stuff like that? And the thing you've got to realize, gentlemen, is girls will never truly shut down their options. They always want to have that next security net lined up for if you slip up. Right? If for some reason maybe you lose your job or you go through a very difficult time, any type of sustained period where you as a man, you are less well off, a lot of these women will straight up just leave, guys. Right now, they might not do it instantly. The attraction might take a long time to disappear if she's had some initially for you. But no matter what these women tell you, man, they don't like the weakness. right? And they will keep dudes on the sidelines for that exact same purpose, and they'll try and brush it off as the, oh, he's just a friend routine, and we've heard it all before. But let's continue on to the end of this story. I keep asking blah blah blah. When I confronted her and told her that she was a bad person, instead of trying to support me and make things better, she said things like, when you would go away, no one would want to go see you. I kept asking what kind of person would say that after what they had just done. I have actually got us into a good position because we were due to move. We now have already got things divided up quite sensibly. However, she still wants to move to a nice house, give our son a good life, etc. And again, like, the skeptic in me, guys, is just saying, you know, make sure that's even your child. Okay, this woman sounds like a complete clown, where a lot of these girls, man, they'll lie. If this woman is willing to lie about stuff like this, make sure you get a paternity test. All right, because a lot of these women, I mean, the statistics are pretty outrageous depending on where you look, but a lot of men are raising children that aren't theirs, guys. And with a woman who is as comfortable lying as this, it's definitely in dude's interest to seek out a paternity test. Eventually, her family members' illness took a turn for the worse, and they sadly went away, so she had to return. I have been very uncomfortable about this, in a way, clinging on to the hope we can have a nice family life. Of course, I found out that she has still been contacting him, but she told me it was, quote, only about the family issue. However, we have a shared account, and I found searches for things like her tongue feeling numb after having some fun with him and worse things. I know I need to get out of this terrible situation I am in. I really feel like I'm posting it here because I don't feel like I have anyone I can talk to. I almost need someone to slap me around the face and wake me up so I can do the right thing. I worry so much about my son because I don't want to see him hurt in any way, but he is the only thing I feel that I have right now. And gentlemen, this goes back into what we brought up at the beginning of the episode, right? Where a lot of men, nobody will listen to you as a dude. Right, yeah, your friends will listen here and there, right? But it's not as if you've got people who would, who are really going to be there long term for you a lot of the times. A lot of the times, gentlemen, when you go through experiences like this, a lot of men find out the really hard way that quite often you'll be alone, right? And this goes for fiscal stuff as well. Maybe you're down on your luck, you don't have a job and stuff like that. A lot of women, they can get dudes to pay their rent and all this kind of crap. But you as a guy, if you go through situations like this, quite oftentimes you're going to be by yourself. Now, this man should obviously leave this woman, but again, it's just a very sad situation where you see kids involved and stuff like this, because marriage does not seem to mean anything to these women anymore, guys, where it used to be till death do us part, but it seems to me like when there's bumps in the road, a lot of these girls will just kind of go and see other dudes. But gentlemen, we're going to be leaving today's show there, so make sure you leave your thoughts and comments to the Reddit articles and stuff that we have shared today, and thank you again for submitting those in. If you guys would like to submit your own Reddit stories and TikToks for the show, there is an email in the description for that. But guys, we're going to be wrapping up today's show there. So gentlemen, as always, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you boys in the next episode. Peace.